All right, so I'm going to try to help you with some of these this way, since these are a little bit more in depth, and I can't really do that through email or through the comments on Google Classroom. So 1 and 3 are the ones from the notes in Mr. Jurasik's video. So you have a copy of what you're seeing right here, the way it is, and you have the work for 1 and 3 and can go back and watch Mr. Jurasik's videos for those. So I'm not going to go through 1 and 3 in detail. I'm going to go through 2, 4, 5, and 6. Also partially because I get cut off after 15 minutes of recording. So 2 is similar to 1, where we have 2 rectangles when we separate in 1 the L shape and 2 the T shape. So I'm going to separate it where the dotted line is here, and when I do that, this 2 feet comes up here, and there's 2 feet there. So the length of this whole side, 2, 4, 6, is 6 feet. I'm going to put that up here since there's so much going on down here, and then this is 3. So I'm going to take base times height for this. So that first one is base times height, and then down here I have another rectangle that's 6 feet and 2 feet, so I'm going to take base times height again, and then I'll just add those 2 together. So I'll have the 6 times 3 and the 6 times 2, and I'll add those 2 answers together. In number 4, we have a semicircle and a half circle. Or, I'm sorry, a semicircle, so a half circle and a triangle. So I want to take, for that semicircle, I want to take pi r squared, and then whatever I get for that, I want to divide by 2. And so in number 3, we had a decimal answer, and so let's go ahead and get a decimal answer for number 4 also instead of the exact answer. So you can go ahead and type in 3.14 and get the decimal, and figure it out that way, because you're going to have to add it. So just like we did up here, we're going to add these 2 together. We're going to add that semicircle to the triangle. But first, when we go back to the semicircle, the diameter is 18, so the radius will be 9. So that's the only thing you have to plug in there, 9, and then simplify, and you'll get the area of that semicircle. But then when I do the triangle, I'll use 1/2 base times height. The base of that triangle is that 18, even though it's not sitting on it. Remember, the base and the height are where the perpendicular forms. So we have 18 for the base, 26 for the height, and that's what I'll plug in there and find that area and then add them together. So then for number 5, what do we have? A triangle and a rectangle. So I made a note off to the side that 17 is the entire height. So when we use the triangle formula, 1/2 base times height, my base is 17. But if my height is 17 for the whole figure, and this is 8.5, I want to take 17 minus 8.5. Hold on, let me try that again. 17 minus 8.5 and get 8.5. So this height right here is 8.5. So for the triangle, 1/2 base of 17 times height of 8.5. And then we're going to add that to the rectangle, which the base is 17 and the height is 8.5. So base times height. And then down in our last one, we're going to do 4, well, it says 4 shapes around the parallelogram. So 5 shapes total. Hold on, sorry. There we go. 5 shapes total. Because I have the parallelogram, triangle, trapezoid, rectangle, and semicircle. So let's start with the parallelogram on the inside. The parallelogram, so parallelogram, that's this one right there. It has a base of 7 and a height of 7. That's where our perpendicular is. So base times height there, 7 and 7. We're going to add that to the rectangle. We'll come over here to the rectangle, which has a base and a height of 8 and 2. So base times height, 8 times 2. And we're going to add that to, let's see, the triangle. So the triangle, we're going to use 1/2 base times height. It has a base of 7 and a height of 2. And we're going to add that to the semicircle, which we used once already, pi r squared divided by 2. So you can have a decimal for this problem also. The diameter is 8 feet, so the radius is going to be 4 feet, and you'll plug that 4 in there. And then last, we're going to add that to the trapezoid. So we're going to have 1/2 the height times base plus base. So our two bases are 7 and 2. Our height is 4. So you'll plug all those numbers into here, find the area of each one, and then add them all together. So hopefully that will help you figure out the rest of that worksheet.